All right, guys, we are back for another video. So let's talk about the permanent character selection which you have in the beginning. So when you initially start the game, you will get one of the characters from the standard banner, so one of the SSR units. You can actually choose which one you want to have, right? So yeah, you gotta make your choices a bit carefully, because obviously the game is evolving and you do have content where you will require a full team of each type. So you will require a slash team, you will require a strike team, a spirit team essentially, and a thrust team, right? And you gotta make your choices smart. Now, it is probably for a lot going to be a case of I'm gonna choose which one I like, right? Because I like the character. I mean, that's perfectly fine. Then for others, they are going to be like, well, I'm going to go choose Kisuke because he's an ultimate support. However, he's a support for mainly, for example, if you're running in Frenzy Feast, your team will be locked. So you want to run him as a support for a slash team. However, if you then do not have a ready support for a thrust team, you're going to be stuck, right? So essentially making your choice is important. Now, let me quickly say this. I chose Byakuya. Why did I choose Byakuya? Now, let me quickly go over to my characters, right? So I chose Byakuya because I have the Bankai Ichigo. Now, the Bankai Ichigo, the perfect partner for him is going to be the Byakuya because this synergy is just broken. You have a tactical battlefield skill unit, which is Byakuya, and you have your main DPS, which is going to be Bankai Ichigo. Now, as for support, I could have chosen Kisuke. However, then I wouldn't have, say, for example, an ultimate support for the Kaname and Ikaku team, for example, where Ikaku is going to be the main DPS and Kaname is going to be the battlefield skill unit, so basically the tactical unit, right? So you gotta make your choices. Now, the way I approach this, right, because currently if you check the top tiers, now let me quickly go to rankings. Where is it? There it is. If you go to rankings, right, let me quickly see combat rankings. What was the teams? Frenzy Feast, we didn't see any combat rankings. Obviously, a lot of people are currently running these kind of teams. So for a thrust team, Kisuke is going to be the ultimately best support, right? But the thing is, all right, this is elusive presence. Even for a slash team, Kisuke is going to be the best support. I don't know how this guy ended up with this team where he is, but yo, this is, yeah, okay. Definitely very interesting team here. So the way it is, Kisuke is going to be the best support for a slash team as well. So you have a conflict, especially in Frenzy Feast. It's going to be tough if you try and share the same support. So the way I approach this is, for a slash team, I'm recommending generally Yachiru Kuzajishi as the best support, right? For a thrust team, I'm recommending currently Orihime Inoue as the best support, right? For a strike team, right, where you run Sajin Komomura as the battlefield skill, and for example, me currently running Chad as the main DPS because I do not have any other SSR strikes, the best support is going to be Nemu, right, as of now. So my opinion is you do not need to have the SSR support units from the get-go if you're trying to achieve the maximum, let's say, progress as quick as possible. That being said, right, this is now a key fundamental you have to understand in these type of games, the way it is in, for example, like Honkai Star Rail as well. DPS units tend to get power crept very early, very quickly. Right, the thing with support units, right, they tend to be like, for example, where is it? We only have one support actually. Now the thing with support units, they tend to be viable for a longer time period in comparison to like DPS units, right? So somebody like Kisuke will stick around for a while, right, in comparison to somebody like let's say a DPS unit of that specific category. So that's a thing you have to take into consideration as well. Now, my suggestion is check your characters first, what you have. If you have, like, for example, some of these DPS which I've shown, like Yachiru, obviously you're gonna have Orihime, and if you have Nemu, then you can definitely go with somebody like Byakuya, or you're gonna get Kaname, for example, or if you need him, you can even grab yourself Sajin Komomura, depending on what you have already, right? Now, if you do not have, for example, for a slash team, Yachiru, obviously you could run Orihime as a support for a slash team. However, then you're going to be short for a support type character for a SSR, for a thrust team, right? And that's where the problem starts to kick in. So again, make sure to check your characters first. Now, if I was to make a ranking, right, based on the character you want to choose, depending on what your needs are, if you do not have any supports, then going for Kisuke is going to be the best choice. If you have the supports, then Kisuke can be neglected, and then going for example, Byakuya or Kaname or Komomura is going to be the best choice, because these are going to be the battlefield skill suppliers. Now, you could choose the DPS characters first, which are going to be Yoruichi and obviously Ikaku. Now, they are going to be good choices as well, but my prediction is they will get power crept fairly easily, very quickly. So I'm not too sure whether it's going to be the smartest choice going for them early on. I mean, in terms of choosing them as your selected character, right? So again, going with Kisuke should be highest priority. If you do not have any other support characters, apart from that, prioritize the battlefield tacticians, so to speak. So the tactic units here, like they provide a battlefield skill. And last but not least, prioritize the DPS characters. Because in terms of DPS, right, for a slash team, you can get away for quite a long time with the, Shikai version of Ichigo. Especially if you have his limited character weapon, right, you're good to go for quite some time. The same thing counts for Chad, right? If you do not have Yoruichi, then you're gonna get away with him for quite some time as well in terms of a strike DPS, right? And in terms of thrust, I mean, you can use Renji, right? But yeah, I feel like he's currently the worst character in the game, right next to Ururu. That's what it feels like currently, right? So yeah, I don't know. Ikaku is good, very good, extremely good actually. Ikaku alongside somebody like Tosen, right, and running in that team Orihime, yo, this team is goated. Like, Ikaku does a lot of damage. The support from Orihime is crazy, and the battlefield skill plus the damage over time which Kaname inflicts is going to be tough to deal with as well for a lot of stages. So yeah. Yeah, I'm going to conclude it there. Again, I've made my suggestions. Do let me know down below in the comment sections what you are going to choose or what you chose already in terms of characters. And again, the same thing counts towards your stamps, right? Your permanent stamp gacha, right? Where you have a selectable character stamp. I would suggest going with the ones where you already have the characters for, right? If you have Ikaku, go with Ikaku. If you have whatever you have, you want to go with first, ideally, right? But yeah, that's it from me. As always, thanks for tuning in. Take care of yourselves. Until next time.